Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Glass, starring James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Anya Taylor-Joy, Sarah Paulson, Spencer Treat Clark, and Shailene Woodard, and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The final movie of M. Night Shyamalan for now. So, I did happen to see this twice. First time was in the regular show at the 7 o'clock Thursday night showing. It wasn't full, but the IMAX showing on my second viewing, it was less than like 10 people, maybe 5 around there. So I wonder how this box office is going to go for. But let's just get in, and I will be talking about some things that I was expecting when we get to this moment of the movie. So let's get into it. We see a split personality psycho named Kevin Wendell Crumb, returned by James McAvoy, who is acting like Patricia, and asks his cheerleading subjects who would like a PB&J sandwich. And that scene as a pickup from Split was a good opener. McAvoy is really magnificent in this movie. And like I said, this was a good opener. And McAvoy is just a brilliant actor. I'm just going to say it now, guys. He really got robbed in Split. He should have got an Oscar nomination for that part. David Dunn, returned by Bruce Willis, owns a security camera store with his son Joseph, returned by Spencer Treat Clark, and he looks for people doing something wrong. For example, some kids trying to punch someone as a prank blog, and stops them for good. I'm liking this so far, and the performance by Bruce Willis is as good as Unbreakable. It runs into Jay, or the man packing drugs in a stadium, returned by M. Night Shyamalan, the director, and his cameo. And it's good to refresh someone's memory by saying, "You searched me 19 years ago in the football stadium." And Unbreakable, for someone who hasn't seen Unbreakable in 19 years, I thought it was a great moment to recognize some things. David bumps into Kevin as Hedwig and sees there's trapped cheerleaders and breaks them free and fights off against the Beast in a brutal fight where the Beast hurts one of the cheerleaders with, I think, a broken arm or something. It was kind of hard for me to say. And both David and the Beast get captured and put into a mental hospital by Dr. Ellie Staple, played by Sarah Paulson. And she is brilliant in this movie. Absolutely brilliant. And I do like that brutal fight between David and the Beast, and the fact that Dr. Staple takes to the Memorial State Hospital. Though that was a good setup for this movie. Elijah Price, played by Samuel L. Jackson, was actually very convincing as he was staring like this the whole time. Almost the whole time, I should say. Until we get to later in the movie where he becomes the mastermind. But he's conveniently there at the prison and will later in the movie team up with the Beast. And I'll talk about that later on. And I also love how later on we will get David, Elijah, and Kevin in the same room as Dr. Staple interrogates them. And I also like the fact that Hedwig is 9 years old forever. Casey Cook, returned by Anya Taylor-Joy, visits Kevin and tries to convince either Patricia or Dennis. And even though she has kind of a small role, but she comes in and she touched Kevin, I suddenly realized she has a crush on Kevin. And I like the fact that she has a crush on Kevin. In fact, and the fact that he's misunderstood. It kind of reminds me of what I saw Split, and I will talk about that at the end of the show. But that's a very good arc that she's a healer, Kevin. Dr. Staple puts 100 plus cameras, in the mental hospital, and it'll lead up to a twist that I'll get to at the end of the movie. I'll hold it till then, but he has a supervillain master plan with the new giant building in the neighborhood, and it's a good plan so far, and it's working out. Elijah finds a file for Kevin and sees at times he can become the Beast, and finds a way out of the mental hospital, and goes to Kevin's cell and asks Kevin to meet the Beast the next day and team up as as the villains go up to David and take out the world at the new building and fight. And I love the way Sam Jackson says, first name, Mr. Last name, Glass. And I do like that scene, and it's burned into my mind because it is so powerfully acted by Sam Jackson and James McAvoy. Meanwhile, Ellie finds Elijah, and we see his memory from, I think it was a deleted scene on Unbreakable. I haven't watched the deleted scenes on Unbreakable, to tell you the truth, but I think I recognize this scene as a deleted scene from when I had it on VHS. I know, kind of weird. Whereas a kid, Elijah breaks his bones on a ride at a carnival, and that night Elijah breaks out of his cell and kills a guard and meets the Beast, and I love his line, "That sounds like the bad guys teaming up." Great line by Sam Jackson. I do like the breakout sequence. This movie is well shot, and this is a great looking movie in my opinion. Elijah talks to David over the microphone and tries to convince David to fight the Horde. That's what they're calling the McAvoy character, or Kevin otherwise. And I do like the sequence of David breaking out of the prison, or the mental hospital, whatever it is. So right now I'm going to call him Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass and Kevin break out of their cells, and Kevin wheels Mr. Glass and gets stopped by security, and as Kevin beats up the guards, Mr. Glass wheels away from the fight, and is a fantastic image. Just fantastic. And outside and sees David, and they get outside and they see David, but who watches the fight? David's son Joseph, Kevin's lover Casey, and Elijah's mother, Mrs. Price, played by Charlene Woodard. And Dr. Staple calls the authorities as David and Kevin fight it off, and Joseph convinces Kevin that his father, Clarence, was on the same train that David was on 19 years ago in Unbreakable, that crashed because of Mr. Glass. And Kevin breaks Mr. Glass's bones and heart, and Casey convinces Kevin he's not a bad person, and gets shot by the authorities, which I'm going to convince them. I was honestly convinced at the end of Split that it was all one guy as the Kevin character. He's just one guy. I'm just going to say it. That's what I predicted at the end of Split, but it didn't turn out that way by the end of the day. And the authorities drowned David purposely in the water because water is his kryptonite, to go back to Superman. And Dr. Staple has a tattoo that tells us she wants these superheroes or superhumans dead. And Ellie thinks she erases the videos where they say they were in on it. And the one of the three twists is Ellie was in on it. The second one is Elijah, David, and Kevin are dead. And the third twist is Elijah got the videos and broadcasted them of the fight, and Ellie wanting the extraordinary beings dead, and he got a lot of the videos online and sent it to Joseph and to the entire world what the three super people are in their existence. That entire thing was almost made me angry, but as the ending progresses, I was good with it. I thought that makes perfect sense. And I'm going to just confess something now. I honestly thought Sarah Paulson's character was going to die by the end of the day. I mean, it didn't turn out that way by the end, because she was in on the whole taking down the superheroes. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.3 out of 10. This is a great looking movie with tremendous performances by the actors, and I honestly don't believe what the critics are saying about this movie. Go check this out, and expect twists. I already talked about them, but just expect it by the end of the day. This is a very good movie, and I'm really glad that I ended up knowing that this was a sequel to Unbreakable, so I'm kind of glad I laid it up all of M. Night's movies from Sixth Sense to this movie. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be coming back with The Oscar nominees that are coming back, that are being reviewed, the only one I have already reviewed was Black Panther. And you can watch that one on my feed. But overall, I'm going to review every single Oscar nominated movie except for Black Panther, since I've already reviewed that one. And I'm going to watch them and I'm going to review them starting next week, 2 a week. And until next time, swing away, Meryl. Swim away.